Call to order the Wednesday, December 11th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Liz, would you take a roll?
Commissioner Austin.
Here.
Spa.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Gorey.
Here.
Kerber.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Purdy.
Here.
Urbanski.
Here.
And Chairperson Brass.
Here. With that, we'll move on to the agenda. Anyone have to make a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second. For Kerber, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the item is item 4, visitor presentation. So this would be anyone here tonight that would like to approach the commission about anything not on the agenda. And is there anyone online? No. So we'll move on from that to approving the previous meeting minutes. If everyone has a chance to review those, I will make a motion to approve those. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Urbanski. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There is no consent items tonight. So we'll move right into the first action item 7A. Liz, would you please present?
Can you see that on the screen up there? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Planning Commission members. We have a concept plan application in front of us for Beckman Coulter, located at the building addressed 316 Lake Hazeltine Drive. This concept plan is being proposed by the applicants, Beckman Coulter and CRB Consulting Engineers. The site in question is highlighted in kind of the orange-yellow shape on this aerial exhibit. The site is located in the northeast portion of the city, so it borders on the city of Chaska's border with the city of Chanhassen. That border, which is kind of hard to see in this exhibit on the big screen here, but is shown in that purple dashed line. The site is right up to the Twin Cities and Western Railroad, which is on its northern edge. It's within an existing industrial park of the city off of Lake Hazeltine Drive. Other industrial buildings and other industrial parks surround this site. Beckman Coulter owns this site, and they own several other buildings within kind of this northeast industrial park, which are noted by the red dots on the screen here. One of the buildings is leased, which is a multi-tenant industrial building just east of the building in question this evening. In terms of process, we're at the first step in the process for this request. So we're at concept plan, where we look at more of the high-level review of the project and start to identify any issues or concerns or things to address as they move on to the next steps. So there will be 2 other steps following this evening. In terms of a little bit of background and some previous approvals that have occurred on this site and with Beckman Coulter, they did conduct a neighborhood meeting, which is required prior to concept plan submittal, and did that on October 22nd. They did not have any public attendance at that meeting, so it was pretty straightforward. This site dates back to 1984, when the original building that exists out there was approved for their site and building plan. And at that time, it did contemplate somewhat of a building addition on the north side of this building. So there was anticipation that the building here would be added onto in the future. Beckman Coulter purchased the building around 2013. So they were not the original owners of the building there today, but they have been there for a number of years. Their company specializes in developing, manufacturing, marketing, selling products for biomedical testing with a focus on making laboratories more efficient. They also make diagnostic systems that you see in most hospitals. So they do have a pretty big presence in the medical industry. They are a national company. They own an international company. They own a lot of properties throughout the globe. And right now they are hoping to expand their manufacturing function within their company, and they're specifically looking at this site on 316 Lake Hazeltine Drive as an option to expand their manufacturing portion of their business. If this building addition were to move forward and the expansion of the manufacturing part occurs, it would bring approximately 300 new jobs to Chaska and to the buildings that Beckman Coulter owns in this industrial park. In terms of the site in question, the site 316 Lake Hazeltine Drive is highlighted in blue on this aerial exhibit. It's a little under 13 acres in size. It's currently in one of our plan districts, PMD 1 to be exact, which is planned multi-use. This area or the site in question is zoned for industrial use and guided that way in our comprehensive plan. So the use is consistent or the request is consistent with the use out there. The site currently contains a one-story, 60,000 square foot building and roughly 180 parking stalls on the site. They currently have 2 access points onto Lake Hazeltine Drive that provides access to both their loading dock areas and the parking on site. They did do a delineation, a wetland delineation of the property and found 2 existing wetlands on site, which are on the north side of the property. One of which would be impacted with the proposed plan and one which would be preserved with the proposed plan. And a sprinkling of trees also exists on that north side. This slide shows a couple images of the existing conditions out there, showing the building from Lake Hazeltine Drive and then a view from the northeast side of the property. So the request this evening is for concept plan approval, which would entail a 2-story building addition totaling 148,000 square feet, as well as expansion to their parking area to accommodate that additional building square footage. The layout of that is shown on this slide here. The building addition is proposed on the northeast side of the existing building. It will again be 2 stories. So the overall footprint off the building, the existing building there would be approximately 88,000 square feet. And then that second story would be roughly 60,000 square feet. So coming to a total of 148,000 square feet of added square footage to the building. They are proposing added parking around the east and north sides of the site and proposed building, which would bring them to a total of 418 parking stalls. Per the city's code and how their existing and proposed building layout from a programming standpoint, it would require 505 parking spaces to meet the city's parking code. So that'll be one thing that we'll have to work on as we approach preliminary, is how the parking is arranged on site and what is needed. As I mentioned before, there is impact to the northern wetland where I'm showing my cursor right now. There's about 0.4 acres of impact from the building and the parking expansion area. And because of that, they'll have to go through a wetland mitigation and impact plan as they prepare for a preliminary submittal. The building will be constructed of precast concrete panels with a reveal application to it, which is how they organize the concrete panels on the building. And then additional windows and glazed entrances to highlight the building addition area. The building addition will be roughly 35.5 feet tall at its tallest point. This slide shows the existing facility in the top images here, which is also a precast concrete building with punched openings or windows on the front side here. So the proposal to use precast concrete panels with reveals and punched openings will be complementary to the existing building out there. And how we treat existing buildings is with any building addition done to an existing building, the building addition should match or be complementary to the existing building as much as possible. And a couple renderings showing the proposed building addition. So again, this building addition will be set back quite a ways from the view of Lake Hazeltine Drive, but still provide a complementary design to fit in with the existing. So the top view shows kind of more of a bird's eye view from Lake Hazeltine Drive, and then the bottom image shows more of a closer up view from the east edge of the property, looking west. So a few things to work on for preliminary. These are just a few on things that we've noted now, but they'll obviously have to work through any of the site plan requirements. But one of them being parking, showing proof of parking and providing a needs summary for the building, working on the landscape plan for the site, and then also working on their wetland mitigation impact plan as they prepare for preliminary. So in conclusion, we are asking you to make a motion this evening to recommend approval of the concept plan for 316 Lake Hazeltine Drive for Coulter, based on the conditions that are listed in the staff report. If this were to move forward this evening, it would go to City Council on the following Monday, December 16th. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we do have representatives from both Beckman Coulter as well as their engineering team, if you have any questions for them. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Just first, we'll bring it back to committee. If there's any questions for the city, for Liz, let's discuss that now amongst yourselves and her, and then we'll ask the applicant to come up.
Hey Liz, you said originally the previous owner had a concept or an expansion plan for the building. What was the square footage on that?
The square footage was roughly 50,000 square feet.
So this one is 40% more.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
In the back area, kind of that nook created in the back upper left-hand corner, where the receiving dock is, not the shipping docks. It's just a wide open area. Is there any outside storage there, or is that just open area for trucks to turn around, or could they potentially park more in there?
Yeah, I can have the applicant come up and respond to that, but at this time, there isn't proposal to have exterior storage that we're aware of. We're presuming just at this concept level, it's more of a loading area for the additional warehouse portion of the addition.
They were short about 100 stalls, 90
A
stalls.
little under 100 stalls right now. Yep.
Yeah,
So there are ways to look at proof of parking on the site that we don't think is insurmountable.
Okay.
So
anyone else have any questions? Nothing yet. Okay, the applicant's here if they'd like to. Someone from the applicant.
I'm Amy Salisbury. I'm with the operations leader and there at the Chaska facility.
Thank you. So that back area, kind of, I guess, I don't know if you have it on screen.
Yeah, so the place where you're talking about with it's just for truck turnaround. And we faced the opening to the receiving docks to the south to help make it better for the weather.
Yeah, the receiving dock on one side and the shipping docks on the other.
Yep, exactly. So we'll flow our manufacturing from west to east.
Got it. a nice facility. What's the anticipated start time? Spring?
The anticipated start time, yeah, if everything gets approved and we can go forward, we're looking at a spring groundbreaking.
So. So in regards to the parking, the additional 300 employees, is this a shift work facility?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it was multiple shifts.
Okay.
Yes,
And-
and that's the biggest reason why we won't have that many people at one time. Yeah.
Okay. So on a single shift, what do you anticipate having in the new facility? Do you think?
I'm estimating about 250 people at max. We've got some growth plans, so I think we might get up to about 250 on a single.
Sure. Makes sense.
These are all manufacturing jobs in?
Manufacturing support. Yeah, so there'll be various support functions that'll be needing to support the assembly and test operations.
So, and you may not be the right person to answer this, but it seems that the size of the facility is limiting the ability to fit both the parking as well as the landscape requirements that are part of the city code. I guess, what are the plans to be able to do that? Because obviously, and I'm stating this now because it all comes to the size of the facility. And if we don't make the statement now, we're going to get to the next step and question, well, how do we actually accomplish those two things if we don't talk about the size of the building today?
I don't know, let me answer that.
Good evening, Chair, members of the commission. Brian Werdeman from Kinley Horn. I'm helping the Beckman team with the civil engineering on the project. So at this point, we feel good about the ability to meet parking through a couple of avenues. One which Liz mentioned was proof of parking on the site. There's also, as Liz mentioned, a number of other facilities that Beckman owns in the area that we can create a bit more of a comprehensive parking evaluation to balance out potentially some other properties in the area. From a landscaping perspective, we did recently conduct a tree survey to better understand the existing trees that are there and what may be able to be preserved to also work that into the city code requirements. So at this point, we didn't have that information for a concept plan, but expect to continue to layer in more information there as we progress towards a preliminary.
So you're parking on other.
They pretty much own the circle.
Right.
Like the campus.
I'll say that the parking, and the Beckman team can kind of speak to this too, but the parking demand that's shown right now on the site is based on their anticipated operations and what they would expect to need within that facility alone. We can continue to work with Liz and city staff as it relates to how that layers into what the code requirements are.
Because back to the part where, buildings change hands. So, I mean, today it all works, but 15 years from now, when that facility may or may not be part of this ownership, it may not fit. So yes, today it might work. 15 years from now, it may not. So I just want to make sure that we're not losing sight of the future as well too. So I'm glad we're thinking outside the box, but.
And just a quick question. So the parking requirement versus provided, that's taken in the existing building and the new building, like
Correct.
everything on the site, correct? Okay. Okay. I think, to point out to the commission too on parking, again, it's concepts, so we'll see it on preliminary, but just like Commissioner Olson had mentioned, in the future, things change. That also would open up the opportunity that someone says, I don't want the manufacturing, and they rip it out and it's just warehouse. And so then the warehouse is, 1 per 1,000 instead of 2 or whatever. So then the parking requirement could go way down, or it could stay the same. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but Yeah, that would be a little more difficult because then you'd need to approve even more parking, so you have to come back to the city. Is your manufacturing two-story?
Yes, we do plan to do manufacturing on the second floor, light manufacturing and heavier manufacturing on the first floor.
And then the tall clear is gonna be the warehousing component?
Yes, exactly. Yep. There'll be a receiving raw material side and a finished goods side to the warehouse.
Areas?
No, no clean areas. No. There might be a HEPA hut, something really small, but no clean rooms. It's not that type of manufacturing.
Just out of general curiosity for myself, so what, is there a specific device or something you're making specifically in this edition, or is it all?
Well, yeah, there'll be several different product lines. There's the current campus produces immunoassay instruments, and we'll be bringing in some hematology instruments and some microbiology instruments. So it'll be all instruments.
Right.
Variety of different tests essentially that we cover, but it'll be all instrument manufacturing.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so looking at the conditions, obviously they're gonna have to meet a few of these things. Trees is big. I don't even know. I don't even know how we have that, how you fit that many trees, but if that even would be feasible. But let's see how that comes back on preliminary. Am I reading that right, Liz? 460 some trees?
Oh, 185 trees.
Oh, okay, then I looked at something wrong here.
That's a caliper inches.
Oh, that's an inch, okay, yeah, I had that wrong. Let me find the spot. Okay, 185 trees, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Pretty much about 1/4 of it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyone have any further questions?
Oh, this one. No.
418.
No?
No.
Okay.
I do like the idea of 300 new jobs.
Yeah.
Chaska.
Yeah, it's quite the company. They own a bit of land in Chaska. All right, with that, I will make a motion to recommend approval to the city council. Concept at 316 Lake Hazeltine Drive, subject to the following. A second by Commissioner Basfa. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Then with that, back to the agenda, we will go into other business. I will receive the city council meeting minutes. They are hereby received. Does anybody have anything to discuss? Roundtable real quick? Questions?
Advertising for that one building up on 41 north of Costco. They're advertising space.
Oh, yeah. The Oak Ridge.
Oh, the conference center?
Yeah, north of Oak Ridge, that
Oh, north.
warehouse.
Yes, yeah, the new, the ones under construction. Yeah.
We're getting close.
That's nice. Anyone driven underneath the causeway in the Coles apartment building? Has anyone been underneath there yet? I have. I was a little concerned after we did that, 'cause it's a newer kind of concept and however, I've been through it a couple times now and it works pretty well. They got it. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to drive through there, but so right in the Coles parking lot is the apartment building and they have the bridge, so you can drive under the building. So like, when they came in to do that, it was kind of a new concept to this area,
So they could add.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did anybody go to the open house for that?
Oh, we were out of town.
I did.
Were the units nice?
Oh, I didn't get any of the units, but overall it's a very nice facility. Yep.
It looks like a really
A
nice.
lot of golf amenities.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Target people.
So Liz, roundabouts are still on track, spring, summer, to start working on 41 and Engler. What's the deal there?
I think they're still slated for next year.
Yep.
Next summer, so still working through that.
They actually produced a video for the teachers and my wife got to see it this morning. And they were all relieved that, the plan was gonna work for them, you know, because my wife travels a mile from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic. School
So-
gets out, there's a
So
lot.
that, I think it eased a lot of their minds that they provided that video for the teachers.
Yeah.
Oh.
And getting stuck behind 10 buses.
Yeah.
And not making the light ever.
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 Speak from experience.
Yeah. All right, with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Gerber, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you again for the honey.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks.
no